G'day and welcome back to SkypeForMeAdmin.com. So today I spotted a thread on Twitter where people were asking what the things they needed to do for their first time at Microsoft Ignite. I figured with Ignite being less than 60 days away, it's worth having a look and visiting what would be the best way to handle your first Microsoft Ignite. So there's a couple of things you'll need to do before the event, obviously, and that's going to be your usual sort of planning your accommodation and those sorts of things. But do log on to the Ignite website and have a look at the Ignite planner. My advice to you is honestly go into the planner and pick everything, anything that you're interested in the slightest. Go and have a look, pick it. If it's a conflict, resolve it later. Once you've done that, plan for bad sessions or session conflicts or, sessions on the other side of the venue. Make sure that you pick more than one event for a particular time slot. It may not be something that you want to focus on, but if it's something that you're interested in, still have a look at it. And the other thing I really got to recommend before you go is reaching out to people that are going to Ignite. So if you know someone from the industry that's going, whether it be a vendor, whether it be a content creator or an MVP or someone who just talks about the stuff a lot, and you're going to see them at Ignite, reach out to them. They may be going to some sort of after party event, or they might know some sort of social meetup beforehand. Reach out to them, just touch base and make sure that, is it okay if we catch up, or those sorts of things, rather than finding out too late. One of the other things to consider is if you're going as part of a group. If you're going as a group, you need to treat Ignites a little bit differently from what you normally would. Depending on how your business organises these sorts of things, typically you'll be given free tender. I personally still go off and I pick everything that I think is relevant to me. I go and pick all the sessions that interest me, but then I'll go and meet up with the other guys and we'll both see, hey, look, we're going to the same events. There's no point two people going to the same event to learn the same thing. You'll catch all that in your debrief later. One of the things that helps with both the organisation before and during the events is honestly creating a Teams channel. I've got a Teams channel we used last year. We renamed it for this year. We're pumping it full of all of the content and ideas that we're talking about and sessions and all that sort of stuff. It's really easy. Plus, it's great to chat about where we're having lunch during the event. Okay, so you've organised what you need to do before the event. Now Ignite's here. What do? Well, make sure you turn up early. Ignite is a massive thing. There's 30,000 people going to the same place. So queues are long, resources are strained. Turn up early, turn up a day early, turn up 2 days early. If you're flying in from Australia like I am, I need to turn up a couple of days early to deal with jet lag. You don't want to be travel stressed. You need to be able to soak up information the second that keynote kicks off. Go to the day before and get your pre-reg. Go to those lines. They are much shorter, much easier to deal with. You go on the day, you'll be stuck in that line for absolutely ever. Make sure you take the right clothes. Ignite is in Orlando. It's closer to the equator. It's warm. It's going to be summer during then. Shorts, t-shirts, polos. Don't be the guy that goes in a suit. Ignite is a totally different kind of venue to Microsoft Inspire. You're there to learn about technology and how it's changing in the space, not to impress other people. Don't go in a suit and tie. Don't take fancy shoes. Take the most comfortable pair of shoes you possibly can. If you wouldn't run a marathon in them, don't wear them to Ignite. You'll be doing 15,000 steps a day in these shoes. Comfy shoes. While you're at it, make sure you understand while you're at Ignite, there is no place to put your stuff. There's no cupboard or, I'll just sit my stuff over here for a little while. Everything that you have with you when you start, you will have with you through the entire day. So take as little as you need, but take a bag that's big enough to carry anything you expect to pick up. Microsoft typically give you a good bag at these events, but it is quite small. I take my larger Averki bag. I'll stuff it full of all the expo stuff. It's so much easier than carrying around all the little dicky bags that everybody gives you. Be light. Try not to carry anything you don't need. If you don't need your massive reference book, don't bring it. It's just more weight you're going to have to carry. Unfortunately for people like us, I have to carry a big camera and a tripod and all that sort of stuff. Power is another big thing too. Power is a premium at the event. There are 30,000 people in there. The sessions are stuffed full of people. Some sessions have power at the seats. You'll find like little power boards zip tied to the seats or something, and they'll be marked for VIPs or media or stuff like that. Sometimes you can get those seats if they're not used up, but make sure your laptop's charged. Make sure it actually turns off when you go to bed that night and it's on charge. Don't leave it to chance. If you can, if power is available, and even if you're not going flat, charge your laptop. If you've got a laptop or a tablet and it's using USB-C or something like that, take a battery bank. Make sure it's charged before you go, charge through the day. The days at Ignite will be longer than you think. You'll be there from 7 in the morning to at least 7 at night, plus any after parties or social events afterwards. So make sure you have enough juice to get through the day. Another important thing to understand is moving between sessions and keeping up to date with everything that's going on. Ignite is huge. The Orlando County Convention Center and all the sessions spans 1.5 kilometers, nearly 5,000 feet for those that use the older numbers. So if you've got a session that's at one end and you've got another session at the other end, plan 10 minutes to get between the two. There is traffic everywhere, as in people traffic. You've got to migrate through people that are all trying to do exactly the same as what you are. So typically they try and keep stuff in the same areas if they're all about the same thing, but be aware you will have to jump from side to side. If you do find yourself, over in the mess hall or something, or the food halls, and a session you're going to attend is on the other side of the venue, check to see if it's on the big screen. They have a massive screen in the food halls, and there's a couple of other little spots where they'll have everything up on screens. You can go pick up a pair of headphones, plug into a little receiver, and listen to what's going on without having to trek across the whole thing. It's not going to be a disaster if you don't make it to that session. Use that time to maybe take a rest or go and see the expo, but don't feel terrible if you're going to, be late to a session. There's no point running and being the sweaty guy that turned up late. Just plan ahead if you can. Keep up to date with what's going on using the Microsoft Ignite My Ignite app. Otherwise, there's screens littered everywhere. If in doubt, the app says one thing and the screen says another, trust the screens. The app can sometimes be a little bit behind. Another big thing to consider with Ignite is that external meetups. So there is obviously the curated content at the event itself, but a lot of people are going to be going to external venues after the event each day. So it's worth making connections, and as I said previously, reaching out to those people and sort of saying, hey, what are you doing at Ignite? Because lots of information and updates of what's going on can be gleaned from those sorts of things. And it's even just good to chew the fat with people who are in the industry, learn what the latest things that they're doing that might not be appropriate to say on stage at a session. Hydration and food and wellness is a big thing to consider. You are packed for time, you're packed for information, your brain is getting chock full of stuff. Microsoft does a lot to provide you food and whatnot, but you literally go to the food hall and there's a whole bunch of people who say, go that way, go over there, pick up your food, get out. And so you get to sit down at the table, you eat your food and you leave, and you just don't have time. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water. It's what I've said before, it's hot. Making sure you have plenty of water. There is plenty of drinks all over the place, but make sure you've got a water bottle. You should get one as part of your welcome back. Make sure you've got food and snacks. Breakfast is great for this sort of stuff. When you turn up at the convention center, there's breakfast, there's tons of fruit. Grab it, bring it with you. Just don't leave your banana skins in the session. Another recommendation I'd make on that front is probably taking something like a Barocca or an electrolyte tablet, effervescent tablet or something like that, just to drop in your water occasionally. If you do go out the night before and you're hanging around with other like-minded people, you can be pretty late. You don't want to be having a foggy mind in the morning. So take headache tablets, take effervescent tablets if you can. Do what you can to look after yourself while you're there and plan for it. After the event, it's also pretty important to know that you've suddenly got 30,000 people in this place in Orlando that are all trying to exit. So wait lines at the airport become ridiculously huge. The Orlando airport was never designed to handle this many people, so plan ahead for that. It's going to take you longer to get through security than normal. Stay an extra day or leave the event early. So, maybe skip the closing keynote and go a bit early, but be aware it's going to take longer to get a bus. It's going to take longer to get through the airport. It's going to take longer to get on that flight. And so those things will take time. It's also really important to not book anything after Ignite. I personally work for an integrator, so obviously I'm on projects all the time. You need time to decompress. You need time to absorb all that information that you just had and everything that's coming out on social media, what's coming out through Channel 9, all the announcers, all the bloggers, they're all talking about what's happened. One, you need to go and process that. Two, you need to process everything that you saw, relay it to your team, follow up on the things that you need to follow up on. You don't want to be trying to think about what you need to do on that project as soon as you land back wherever your home is for you. And another slightly frustrating thing that'll happen after Ignite, you'll get emails and phone calls and follow-ups from every single vendor you went and saw in the expo because they had a little dingly thing or USB key that you wanted and they swiped your tag. That tag gives them access to your email address and contact details, and they'll follow you up for leads. These people are just doing their jobs. Be nice. Yes, I'm interested in your product. No, I'm not. Sorry. They're just trying to get through the leads as quickly as they can. They just want to do their thing. Don't get upset with them. Don't get angry. It can get frustrating, I know. But realistically, that's it. Ignite is a massive thing. You know, you've got people from all over the world converging on this one place to learn about what's new in the Microsoft space. It is one of the most demanding weeks of your year. And it can be a lot of fun as long as you make sure you take the right things and you plan ahead. Hopefully this information has been useful to you, and if it has, drop a like down below or comment, let me know. This is sort of a new sort of recording space for me, so we're trying to figure out the best way to do these sorts of things, but I'm hoping it's helpful. If you're going to Microsoft Ignite this year, I'll be floating around. Reach out to me on Twitter. Otherwise, if you see me walking around with an orange pony on my back, that's gonna be me. Anyway, guys, I'll see you next time. Thanks.